Alright, I've had some people, say that, or ask me tips on, some of my techniques. So I figure I might start doing some lessons, just, talking about my approach. I'm not saying I'm, like, some super great player, but just to maybe give some tips, maybe, what I might have to say will help someone. And, so I want to talk about alternate picking, and that's something that I've really been working on lately, and getting it clean and consistent, and some exercise if you're not familiar with it. And I know it was one of the hugest hurdles for me because just that being able to, go from string to string on different, like transfer picks or transfer, strokes like down, down, or down, up. Just being able to do an up on the next string was like really hard for me when I first started. I had this weird combination of economy picking and inside alternate picking, and it was really weird. But that's actually one thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about inside alternate picking, or inside the strings alternate picking, and outside. And what I mean by that is, let's take this shape right here, right at the 12th fret. So that's like an E minor, scale position right at the 12. So I want to talk about if you were to start that with a downstroke and go down, up, that's called outside picking, because when you're transferring strings, you have to actually go over the string and get it from the outside. It's not like it's not in between the strings. Your pick has to go outside and get that up. So there's a down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, inside the string alternate picking, well, that's kind of what I call it, would be, let's say you started that pattern with an upstroke on the B string. So, up, down, down. Now see how when I did that up on the B string, when I went to that down on the E, it's much less movement because I'm staying in between. The pick, if you can see here, is in between the B and the E strings. It's not a jump to the outside to get that up pick. So I would experiment with both, because you can get both of them clean. Although starting with a down is usually the recommended way to do things. But there are plenty of players who don't do that. There are plenty of players. Marty Friedman does a lot of up. Paul Gilbert actually does a lot of patterns starting on an up, which is pretty surprising when I found that out. So the master of all alternate picking licks, or practice licks, is definitely what I was just playing actually. Because that trains you to do that up pick. And the reason why I'm using clean tone here is so that you can see that, a lot of people say that, oh, without distortion, shredders can't get their licks to sound clean. Well, you should practice with a clean set. You should practice with both, really, because if you just practice with the clean, you won't be able to control the string noise when you're using distortion. And if you just use distortion, when you go to a clean sound and want to alternate pick some fast stuff, you're going to sound like crap. So the basic exercise, is so down, up, down on one string. No matter where you are, you can do that, You can do it anywhere. But I'm going to do it at the 12th, fret position. So the basic one is, there's the up on that E, and then down, back on the B, up, down, and it kind of repeats. Those are some of my favorite other patterns I like to do. I like to do this one. Each time you're starting with a downstroke when you go to transfer descending down the strings. That one can sound cool when you throw, like a... And so alternate picking, one thing I'd like to talk about is the way you hold the pick. Now, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Eddie holds his pick like this. other players, hold it differently. But I've taken on the Paul Gilbert method, which I let the pick kind of rest on the top, kind of side edge of my first finger here, sort of like that, and that way, the joint in my thumb controls the angle of the pick for different sounds and different attack on the strings. So, and it just feels comfortable to me, and whatever feels comfortable to you is good. But one thing I want to talk about: if you do a lot of picking with your actual thumb joint, that's not good. I know there are a lot of people who do that, but Rusty Cooley, one of the greatest shredders of all time, he was talking about how alternate picking and fast picking should come from the wrist and maybe some of the elbow. See how I'm kind of moving there? And the wrist, not your thumb joint, because when you do it from your thumb joint, you're only going to be able to pick as fast as your thumb joint can go, like that, and that's not as fast, I think, as the wrist or the elbow. But if it's working for you and you're able to pick clean and fast and accomplish what you want, then go for it, sure. But also, thick picks for alternate picking. You need a thick pick, because to actually synchronize your right and left hands, it has to be an instantaneous attack. The second that you pick the string and your finger comes down, they have to come together at the same time. So if you've got a pick that bends, you're going to push down and it's going to bend before it's actually going to snap off the string and release the string, and that takes more time, and you're not going to be able to play as fast, and it's going to make your hands won't be synced up as much. So I recommend using super thick picks. I use a 3mm Dunlop stubby pick. If you can see how thick that is, it's a thick pick, and it really works well. It takes a while to get used to, but it helps so much with your picking. And I'd say to keep a loose grip, but choke down a lot. Don't hold the pick way up here, because that bends, and that bend is not what we want. We want a solid connection with the string for the fastest. So, but you don't want to tense up too. So if you hold it way at the top, to make it not bend, because you're holding less of the pick, you'd have to grip really tough. But if you hold it lower, the pick isn't going to bend, and you can hold it softer. And you want relaxed muscles. You want to hold the pick soft, so you can really just kind of let your picking, you don't want to, really strain. You want to, you want to keep it. You want to really be loose. That's how you get, fast, clean picking. So, I'd recommend learning your 3-note per string scale shapes. Those are basically the springboard for all the shred licks that a lot of the shred licks you're going to hear that are alternate picking licks. And it all comes from that exercise. That's the one you want to learn. Down, up, down on the B, up pick on the E, back down on the B, up, and then repeat. That's the one that's going to get your picking really synced up. And you can do that. It doesn't just have to be on the 2 highest strings. So I just want to talk about picking, give some tips. I'll be doing more exercises and lessons pretty soon. So until then, see you guys later. Hope I helped someone.